Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is both incredibly fascinating and honestly quite complex. We are deconstructing the ultimate modern megabrand, Taylor Swift. We're going to look at the actual anatomy of her phenomenal success, charting her record-breaking wealth and her surprisingly strategic asset management. But we are also going to look at the flip side of that coin. What exactly happens when an unstoppable economic force meets an uncontrollable real-world tragedy? To really get to the bottom of this, we'll be leaning on academic case studies to examine the harsh realities of crisis management at the absolute highest levels of the entertainment industry.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with the billion-dollar milestone, move into the Eras Tour economy, and then explore the real estate empire. After that, we'll carefully pivot to sections 4 and 5 to respectfully and objectively analyze a tragic brand crisis and wrap up with managing the megabrand. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, the billion-dollar milestone, making music history. To really grasp the sheer scale of this brand, just look at this number. According to recent reports by Forbes, her net worth has absolutely skyrocketed and is now estimated to be somewhere between $1.6 and $2 billion as of 2026. I mean, this is a massive milestone. It officially made her the richest female musician in history, overtaking Rihanna. And on the global scale of all musicians, she now trails only behind rapper Jay-Z. And this matters deeply to the entire industry because it represents this monumental shift in how modern artists can generate and fundamentally control their own wealth.
Now, what's actually mind-blowing is the composition of this immense wealth. We have $600 million from touring and royalties, another $600 million from the value of her music catalog, and roughly $125 million in real estate holdings. So unlike other billionaire musicians who often reach that top-tier status through outside business ventures, like massive makeup lines or fashion brands, Taylor Swift is literally the first musician to hit billionaire status primarily through the sheer force of her songs and live performances.
Moving right along to Section 2. The Eras Tour economy, a $10 billion impact.
$2.2 billion. That is the staggering projected gross revenue for just the North American leg of the Eras Tour. But the true scale of a megabrand, that's measured by its ripple effect. When this tour comes to town, fans spend big on travel, hotels, restaurants, and retail. A 2023 study actually estimated that direct fan spending generated a total economic impact of anywhere from $5 to $10 billion. To put that into perspective for you, the Eras Tour economy was estimated to be bigger than the gross domestic product of 50 actual countries. Let that sink in. And this right here brilliantly illustrates her business savvy. While the tour generated billions, her catalog generated equal wealth. But it wasn't a smooth path. Following the 2020 loss of her master recordings, she didn't just accept defeat. Instead, she initiated a totally unprecedented strategic re-recording movement, creating Taylor's version of her classic albums. This bold move effectively doubled her fortune by the time she hit billionaire status. She completely reclaimed her art and sparked an industry-wide discussion about artist autonomy and creative control. A real game changer.
Section 3. The real estate empire. $150 million across 4 states. Let's step away from the music for a second and look at her active real estate portfolio. This isn't just a random collection of flashy vacation homes. It's a highly strategic, estimated $150+ million empire spanning 4 states. In New York, she methodically assembled a $47.7 million compound across a single block in Tribeca. In Rhode Island, her $20.4 million oceanfront mansion, famously known as Holiday House, even inspired a critically acclaimed song. Plus, she holds strategic properties in Nashville for herself and her family. She doesn't just buy to live, she buys to hold, restore, and protect. To really understand this strategy, let's zoom in on one specific property, the Samuel Goldwyn Estate in Beverly Hills. She bought this 1934 Georgian Revival mansion in 2015 for $25 million. But she didn't just bulldoze it for something new. She meticulously restored it to its original 1934 condition and successfully petitioned to make it an official historic landmark. That means it's legally protected. It cannot be demolished. Because of these incredibly smart moves, the property's estimated value has soared to over $70 million. She practically tripled her investment while preserving a piece of cultural history. Section 4. A tragic brand crisis. The realities of a megabrand. At this point in our explainer, we really must execute a crucial tonal pivot. We are going to objectively examine what happens when an unstoppable economic force meets an uncontrollable and deeply tragic event. We're looking at the timeline of the November 2023 URS Tour stop in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. A massive, unprecedented heat wave hit the region. Before the concert even started, the feels like temperature index reached a completely suffocating 138.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Compounding this severe environmental hazard, the stadium venue enforced a ban, preventing fans from bringing their own water bottles inside, and reports noted that air vents were actually closed off. Tragically, in this fatal combination of extreme heat and venue conditions, thousands fainted, and a 23-year-old fan named Ana Clara Benavides went into cardiac arrest and passed away. Subsequent shows were immediately postponed as the singer expressed profound devastation. To analyze a tragedy of this scale within the context of our explainer today, we are grounding our discussion impartially in an academic source from the Journal of Business Cases and Applications. We aren't just looking at sensational news headlines here. This paper explores the highly complex web of responsibility when a massive production system fails. I mean, who is responsible? Is it the artist, the venue, the local promoters? It presents a highly complex, real-world case of negative publicity and crisis management. Which brings us to Section 5, Managing the Megabrand, Public Relations in Crisis. So the crucial starting point is defining the core concept clearly. According to academics Lee and Wei, a brand crisis is defined as well-publicized claims or unexpected events that threaten a brand's perceived ability to deliver expected benefits. Think about it. When fans go to a concert, the expected benefit isn't just entertainment. It's fundamentally based on a baseline of trust and physical safety. The Brazil tragedy serves as an extreme, real-world example of a brand crisis because that core baseline safety was compromised, deeply threatening the brand's perceived reliability. Now, attribution theory gives us three ways to classify how the public actually views a crisis. First, a victim crisis. This means the brand itself is seen as a victim of outside forces. Next, an accidental crisis means the event was uncontrollable, with the brand having minimal responsibility. And finally, an intentional crisis assigns strong responsibility directly to the brand. I want you to try and apply these three categories to the Erasers Tour crisis. Considering the unprecedented global warming-driven extreme weather, the venue's strict water ban, and the artist's own personal devastation, how does the public allocate blame? As you might guess, it usually falls into a really murky area between accidental and intentional, making public relations exceptionally difficult to navigate. So, when faced with this murky area, a megabrand has a PR toolkit, ranging from defensive to accommodative strategies. They can choose silence, they can offer excuses or justifications, or they can lean heavily toward corrective action and full apologies. In this specific case, Swift issued heartfelt statements of grief, postponed shows for safety, and eventually met with the victim's family. However, public reception to these moves was still highly polarized. It just goes to show the immense difficulty of navigating PR strategies when facing the horrific loss of a life alongside severe negative publicity. All of this leaves us with a final, profound question to consider. In an era where a single artist can generate a billion-dollar touring economy that literally rivals small nations, what is the ultimate goal of managing a brand crisis? Is it simply protecting the bottom line, or is it ensuring fundamental human safety? And when a sprawling, multi-layered megabrand infrastructure fails under extreme pressure, where does the responsibility truly lie? Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive on The Explainer. I hope you'll think critically about the media and the megabrands you interact with every single day, and I'll catch you next time.